Hi there, and welcome back to Week 9 with Clutch Gaming. This is Cyrus Slyfox Shire, and we're going to be getting into some analysis. Before we do, let's talk about some updates. It's the end of the split. This is going to be, from what I understand, the end of the Clutch Gaming series. I might do some playoff games. Maybe I'll go to a different region. I'm going to try and get out some other YouTube content when I can, and I also. If people do schedule meetings and they're okay with me recording, then anything that's not one of my lectures that involves coaching does go on YouTube, as long as the person purchasing that coaching is okay with it, or the people, all of them, are okay with it. So today we're going to be looking at Clutch Gaming versus TSM. This is Saturday's game, and this is, from what I understand, a short game. But you know, these games are always blind looks on me. First thing I notice is I already see that Artemis is helping out with the drafts. So McScrigs has Artemis on stage. I don't think that he was there previous weeks, so not sure. Maybe they just want him to get a little bit of experience. We'll see. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in the draft. We see Clutch Gaming coming out with Zoe Ban, Callista Ban, and Relia Ban. So I like the Callista Ban. Callista's definitely underrepresented in a lot of regions right now, as a really strong pick. I think that she can be utilized a lot more. I think that people took the nerf to her E a little bit too hard. She still has a pretty good execute, and for the neutral objectives, it's just not going to do like 2,000 damage anymore. I'm sorry, that was like, being able to prevent a Cho'Gath from stealing Baron is pretty insane. Or even something like Nunu Q-Smite. TSM brings out Jace ban, so that's pretty standard. Cassiopeia ban and Silas ban. That's interesting. I thought Silas was banned like globally on 9.5 this past week, but maybe I'm wrong. That's interesting, because he is banned, from what I understand, he's banned in the tournament that my team plays in this upcoming weekend for semifinals, and we're playing on 9.5. I don't know why we're playing on 9.5. It's already been 2 weeks, but or it's already been a week, so this looks strange. But that's okay. Clutch Gaming coming out with a first pick on Lissandra. I like this. I definitely think that Lissandra being a control mage on the mid for Clutch Gaming helps their game work out. Oh my god, I didn't talk about the draft. I didn't talk about the players. Wait. I changed my mind. I don't like this. Anyway, Piglet and Cody-san are playing. I actually remember hearing about this on Thursday. I talked with Duka about it just a little bit. Shout out to Duka. It's last week. That's your guy who's bringing us the videos. He's really fun. TJ's biggest fan. He was talking to me about Piglet and Cody-san being moved in on the main team, Piglet moving to mid, and then Cody-san moving in from the academy team. I quite like Cody-san. A lot of people, after chatting with a couple people told me that he is missing a larger champ pool. This is just purely speculation, or people who have worked with him before, or who know people who have worked with him before. So I have no like recent first-hand information, and that his attitude on improving after having so much competitive experience has been tough on being in an environment where there's newer coaching staff. And this is not something that I've actually heard from Clutch Gaming. This is something that I've heard from other teams that Cody-san had been on before. So, but what's interesting is that with DeMonte out of the picture, I think I like Cody-san as a player. He's still really good. With DeMonte out of the picture, Piglet being on the top side, if you split up the map, you have 3 Korean speakers in the top side of the map, and then you have 2 English speakers in the bottom side of the map. If there's anything about like language barriers that could possibly be an issue on Clutch Gaming, this is a move that allows Clutch Gaming to set up strong side top side, which is a dedicated way to play for one side of the map, and to play around vision on one side of the map rather than trying to mix up or change the way that you play depending on minute mark, but rather set up strong top for most of the game, and converge into an early mid-game 4-1 after making a big play on a tower. Now here's what I don't agree with. So if this was DeMonte, I would be like, hey, Lissandra, I like it. DeMonte and Lissandra, you know, it's not Syndra. It's not something that I think he's going to particularly underperform on, even if he's not the best Lissandra in the world. But he's not going to be the worst Lissandra in the world, and that's what matters. But with Piglet in the picture, I think Piglet's a hard carry, and he's definitely going to be the more consistent mechanically speaking carry out of these 3 guys. So I think putting Piglet on a different pick would have been nicer. I think grabbing a first pick jungle pick here might have been a good idea. And if you're going to play something like Chaya or Rakan, which is going to leave Cody-san and Vulcan in the bottom lane to say, okay, you guys have a strong lane that you can play into any lane and you don't have to worry about, something that would even not be what we traditionally see from Lyra would be Sejuani first pick. So that would actually require you to possibly change a ban. You might want to like not have Morgana in the picture. Morgana would definitely screw up this entire section if this was Sejuani. It's still, Morgana's still like pretty good against Chaya Rakan. Some of your best lanes against Chaya Rakan are something like, I mean, Lucian's good, Braum's good, and then more specifically is Leona's good. People have been playing the Galio. The Galio E will take priority, meaning that it will stop the Rakan W. Over, so it's also decent in that, although the Galio W, or the Galio E also has much longer cast time and charge up, because in some rare cases, if Galio E's right as Rakan W's, and Rakan lifts up before Galio makes contact with Rakan, but Galio is still within the circle of Rakan's grand entrance, then Galio can actually get knocked up out of its dash. So that would be one time where that wouldn't work the way that you want it. But it's still a pretty strong pick, and it's an aggressive pick. So it's like the Leona, but Galio has a little bit more flexibility in getting out of a situation, as well as in it, and is more of a all-around pick rather than Leona is pure in, Braum is pure disengage, and you know, it can't really do a whole lot of aggression. Galio can do a little bit of both. So where were we? We were saying that we'd like Piglet on a stronger carry. We're saying that we really like Chaya Rakan. So if this was a Huni top pick, I think this would have been pretty cool. So let's try and go through this draft like a little bit more methodically, before I get carried away on some like really cool some really cool tangent. You see Ryze Lucian get picked up by TSM. Okay, so what does this mean? Well, one, Ryze is going to go into Lissandra, and that's going to counter Lissandra. You throw EW when Lissandra throws E, and then Lissandra's not going to be able to use the blink to the claw. And then the Lucian is a blind pick because it's one of the strongest picks in the meta. There's not a whole lot you can pick into Lucian that's particularly good. Chaya Rakan is not bad, so this is not particularly bad. But if you want to be safer, you do pick Ezreal, which makes Lucian very sad. I feel like Sivir is also a soft counter if you really wanted to use Sivir. But you know, I'm not criticizing Chaya Rakan anyway. I think Chaya Rakan's definitely super strong, especially with all the buffs that Chaya got. Although I think didn't she get another buff in 9.6, or did that actually come in 9.5? Where her her W goes up to 80% attack speed at level 5 now, I believe. So the scaling on it got a lot better. And remember that a couple patches ago, her E went from 1 second to 1.5 seconds on the snare. Which is, it makes Chaya a lot more scary without actually giving Rakan power. So Rakan's not OP, Chaya is a little bit stronger by herself. Chaya Rakan definitely still becomes stronger as a whole. So third pick coming out from TSM in response to Chaya Rakan is the Galio. So Galio is definitely a little bit of skill matchup, as we've already explained the interactions between him and Rakan, but it's also something that they can play aggressive with in the bottom lane. He can play defensive on other parts of the map, and you know, having a semi-global is really nice. So nothing to worry about here. TSM says we're going to ban Rumble, we're going to ban Nocturne. Clutch Gaming says we're going to ban Riven, and we're going to ban Aatrox. So Riven and Aatrox are trying to force a top lane pick of somehow. So this is not surprising from Clutch Gaming. We've seen Clutch Gaming do blue side picks like this. They leave top till last rotation, and they make bans so that Huni can pull out some pick, whatever it may be. Sometimes it's not very strange, but it is usually for Huni. Whereas, you know, they could have banned junglers, although I don't think banning Skarner would have ever come to their mind. Yeah, Skarner's a weird pick, but okay. TSM picks Skarner. I'm gonna go ahead and say that's okay. So instead of picking a Skarner counter, Clutch Gaming pick Elise. Do we have an OPGG for this guy? Oh, that can't be him, right? Come on. Wait. We don't have any Lyra. Like, what does this guy play? What does Lyra play that's not Lee Sin? Please tell me. Like, someone tell me what this guy can do. Like, think of all the picks you could play into Skarner that are actually decent. Okay, ready? Olaf, Sejuani, Jarvan, maybe. Like, Jarvan's not the best, but like, it's not bad. Trundle. Trundle's pretty good in the Skarner, because you just stick E on him and he can't engage anymore. That would take away a lot of the engage from TSM, because like he's almost all the engage. And like getting 5 people to buy QSS, like forcing 5 people to buy QSS sucks. I can't think of something else right now. But I know these 4 champions are pretty good into Skarner, and this is not one of them. Is Elise okay? Sure. But it requires like a lot. Like, you pick Elise for early dives, right? You pick Elise for early dives. Okay, so like, what about this tells you that you're gonna early dive? None of it. None of it. Are you gonna early dive that guy? No. Are you gonna early dive that guy? No. Like you're also like against a blind pick top laner, or well, not blind pick top, blind pick flex, and then like could you dive Rise? Like maybe if you like put Rise in top, like being on top, red side with no mobility and not really a whole lot of sustain, is it really easy to dive? Yes. Did they put Lissandra on Huni? No. They didn't give Piglet a carry. They gave Piglet Lissandra, and then they gave Huni Vayne, so Rise goes mid and they get to pick something that you can't really dive. Like by the time Akali's level 3, you can't dive her. So unless Elise can get top and dive her before she gets Shroud, which means she could take Shroud at level 2, she's not gonna fight Vayne. Like it's just not gonna happen. Then it's impossible. And it's really hard to dive mid. That makes things really complicated. This choked the draft really hard. Not, I mean, like if this was different, but top lane and mid lane were the same, this could possibly be a comp that had like a win condition. But like Elise just does not belong here. Elise does not belong in this composition when you have these matchups. And this is a shame because you're picking this so late in the game, like it's so late in the draft, that you want to be picking it for a good reason. Like you see your jungle matchup, you see where you can put lanes, and you know the coaching staff should have like all say, okay, like you know this is Saturday. If they win both games, they could possibly tie. I believe there was some way they could have made playoffs. I don't really remember. There was quite a few like lucky universes in which Clutch got like a tie and was able to do stuff. But this is tough. This is not something that I support. On the other hand, TSM's draft looks like mid game and early game, mid game, and a Skarner. And I say end a Skarner because I just think Skarner's kind of silly. Like putting Skarner in any team comp is just I think Skarner's a joke. I think the buff to Skarner was fun, and I think it's cool and interactive and makes his clear time nice. I'm not gonna say Skarner is unusable, because he's definitely mid-game. Like, this is definitely a TSM we're gonna play within 15 to 25 minutes, and we are gonna actually stomp within 15 to 25 minutes. And maybe we'll get some stuff before 15 minutes too. Clutch Gaming says, well, even Elise, who's gonna try and carry like 0 to 20. Then we have a Lissandra that's gonna try and carry like 15 to 25. And then once we get to 25, we're gonna hope that Vayne and Shia carry. But I think that's really tough. Hold on. Wanted to see something. Is he happy with this draft? I can't tell. They don't look happy. I don't know. I just like I want to know what they think about their own draft when there's a clear clear oddity. And like I don't want to hear shit like it worked in scrims. And I don't want to I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to be constructive and productive. It worked in scrims to me as a meme. Like you get to scrim all week, you need to learn when something is wrong, and like you should know how win conditions interact with each other and how they build off of each other and how they give you options and how when options are available they open up a series of universes. Okay, so there's a decision tree that's large that goes through every second of the entire game, or not second, but every possible action between every 5 players on your team, or each one of 5 players on your team, as well as each one of 5 players in the enemy team. So you've 10 you have 10 variables, and it's not necessarily a Boolean tree, meaning that like it doesn't necessarily split into 2 different actions each time. It's not like saying, oh, I can do this, I don't, or I won't do this. It's saying like I could do this or this or this or this. So you end up getting millions of possible trees, but you want to cut off the trees that are bad or just like suboptimal or don't open a lot of doors for you. Like if you have trees that don't have a lot of branches, you want to say, well, those trees, it takes a lot longer to get to the win condition, or there's not a whole lot of conditions that allow me to abuse the game state due to the game. And that's hard. It's hard to process this while you're drafting. I'm not going to say that it's difficult to process it while you're drafting. And this is something that I'm also working on, like developing a program to help see this. And it'll take a long time before it's applicable and actually analyzing 2 different teams, because you're looking at an equation of hundreds of variables each minute over the course of possibly 30 minutes, possibly 40 minutes, and understanding like, well, is forcing these game states actually possible? How do I account for teams making mistakes? Like how big could those mistakes be? Like how many different universes could I possibly see? And being aware that at the end of the day, like what you want is the easiest set of conditions that give you the easiest set of doors, that lead to the most opportunities for variety, as well as personal personal stretch. So there's the level 2 dive that's getting denied. Personal creativity, like allowing someone to create a strategy within the game, because there is a mixed strategy. Of course, there's a mixed strategy. And a mixed strategy would be like, okay, well, here's all of the strategies. They're combining all the universes that I could take, assuming, maybe assuming in the first place, just to be clear, or making the equation simpler, that there is a possibility that you'll choose one strategy over another. And you could even have 4 strategies. And, it's maybe an 80% chance that you'll take one strategy. But, another strategy might be good right now, just in this universe that I'm in right now, because of the conditions that the enemy has created for me. And it allows the players to customize when they see fit, which actually is what makes a good player, a player that is able to customize strategy and bring their own flair and creativity to light and allow it to shine. And looking for players like that is really difficult, and training players to do that is even more difficult. But at least having an idea of how it works is something that needs to happen before you're able to even begin training. So now that I've gone on like this entire string of ideas that are probably really hard to understand, at least from the mathematical perspective, we have clutch right here. Clutch. Small lead. Not bad. Discrepancy in the bot lane. Cody's kind of behind. That's not very surprising, though, because they don't have a whole lot of pressure in that lane. You actually have a cleanse coming out from Cody's. So, their damage isn't very high. They have to play defensive. Clutch didn't get the lead that they really wanted. The biggest lead that they're coming from is just the CS denial out of the Akali. Both other lanes are losing. They do also have a CS lead in jungle, just because Elise can steal camps pretty easily. She gets a lot of freedom because of the push that they have in top lane. They can also kind of force the mid lane push as soon as Lissandra has enough mana, so that she doesn't have to really worry about mana a whole lot. So trying to win off those 2 lanes is nice. But you did see Elise go top, like saying, okay, well we can try and dive Broken Blade, we can try and get a kill on the level 2 Akali, because maybe she took E and Q, which would be like, you know, it's helpful with farm, but being greedy for farm when maybe you know that you're gonna get dived is pretty tight. So I don't know. The TSM was like, okay, well, this is one of their only win conditions. TSM did exactly what I did. TSM said, this is something that they can do because we know that is a niche that Elise has. So this is where we are weak. The top lane is this is where we are weak. This is when we are weak. Let's have a KDM be there and say, this is a very small point in which we just need to protect and make sure that we are not taken advantage of. So, TSM, good job analyzing win conditions correctly. So I don't really expect a whole lot of action in this game. Like once Elise gets to the point where she can't gank lanes because she won't know where Skarner is, and then Skarner can press 6, or can press R because he's 6, is when the game gets really difficult for CG. Because then all of their engage and all of their power potential actually comes from Piglet. It comes from his ultimate. And Piglet's not playing like a big carry, like it's not a lot of damage. It's just like a utility pick. So I think the best thing that they can do right now is try and dive bot with Lissandra, honestly, as soon as possible. And as soon as possible might be when Rakan gets level 6. Just so that they can force somehow one of these dives. Not bad, not bad. Okay, so Rakan got level 6, and Lyra was also in the bottom lane, and they were able to immediately force First Blood and all summoners from TSM. So that's really good, actually. Because they didn't actually have to use Cody Sun's Flash, but they did trade 4 summoners for 4 summoners. They just also happened to win First Blood on Cody Sun, which is very profitable. On the back end, they are losing Dragon, which I don't know why they are losing. Like, so let me think about this. How much HP does Cody Sun have right now? Cody Sun has full HP. He has some mana. Lyra has half HP and mana. Vulcan has half HP and mana. I feel like Clutch could have forced Fire Dragon. That's tough. That's really tough. So to force Fire Dragon, first you need to tell Piglet that you would probably like to take the priority that he has in mid and have him drive Bjergsen down. Have Bjergsen crawl back to his tower, and then have Piglet come down immediately so that you can converge onto the dragon, and you can control Dragon Pit and use this Lissandra to zone with our ultimate, and then you would be able to burst down pretty quickly because Lyra and Cody Sun actually do a lot of damage. TSM ends up getting the scaling card of Infernal Dragon. There is a Wind Dragon next, which doesn't actually let them like super outscale. Like if this game goes to 6 items, like TSM loses. That is true. And you know, I definitely would say that it's easier for you to outscale your enemy than it is um, to like tempo them if they're better than you. But outscaling is going to be hard. It's going to take a while, and it's going to take making like no mistakes against a team that can literally just like walk at you. And being walked at is not fun. I think we've all played League of Legends and had like what, like a 20-0 Renekton just like walk at you and just like flash W you, and there goes 90% of your HP, and you're thinking to yourself, huh, I wonder. Okay, let's speed up this game. I think I've already like burned the commentary. KDM Pierce top with Predator. Not gonna do anything. Give me ops for Hex Drinker first. Yeah, good luck outscaling. That's gonna take forever. He needs 2 items. And like he needs 2 entire items. And I know he's holding on to a lot of gold. Like, don't be surprised. Hooney's actually holding on to like a ton of gold. Which is why he's getting pressured to dive right now. I wish they would press X. I could probably count like, so Hex Drinker's 1200, or I think 450. No, it's like 1350. I'm sorry. So 1650 from the dagger as well. So that's 1650. Getting 1650, you can probably get that at like 40 CS. Akali also has only spent like 1200 on the Hex deck revolver. Oh, here it is. Akali's holding 2100, and Vayne's holding 2500. So yeah, that's the disparity that you see, and that's why they actually looked for diving on Vayne, because she's really vulnerable. Like she could be so much stronger right now. Akali doesn't really need the items to kill her if she also has Skarner, because if Skarner presses R, she's going to hit everything, and she's going to be able to very calmly get her combo and get out passive damage. It's very easy for her to set up all of that damage. If they were to get that dive. But they go ahead and they used Piglet teleport to take that. CG on the bottom side of the map now for the Wind Dragon that just spawned, but it doesn't look like they're going to be contesting that directly. Yeah, they're going to be giving that up. So this is not extremely important. I think they're saying goodbye to all the dragons right now, because as long as it wasn't a second Infernal, which would have made TSM really scary even in the late game, then it wasn't a huge issue for CG. Although I do think CG have to contest the next dragon, which is a Mountain Dragon. Mountain Dragon is going to be really key in this game, because Mountain Dragons can help CG or TSM get more pressure onto Baron. And that Baron pressure can really change the game. Okay, so this was good. So first, Hooney is pulling back the wave because he wants to freeze it. Broken Blade gets an engage on him and he has to peel off, and Lyra was waiting in the wings because Lyra can do like, I mean, 3/4 of Broken Blade's HP and probably this combo. So he would have been able to help Vayne get the kill. Then TSM at the same time on the cross map are making a play on the Cody Sun. Lots of damage comes out from the culling. They take a Rise ultimate. Vulcan ults the Rise ultimate, jumps back to Cody Sun, and they're able to get out with also using Cody Sun's ultimate. They spent 3 summoner spells, including Cody Sun's Flash, for the Flash of Bjergsen, Smoothie, and Acadian, so that's a pretty good trade. Piglet roams down to the bottom lane after getting the pressure in the mid lane, so there's a lost minion wave for TSM on the mid tower. Okay, this is good. So this is very nice by Clutch. This is really mature. So throughout the season, Clutch has been very fast on mid-game plays. They've been very anxious. Does not look like Clutch being anxious. And I think this has a lot to do with the different atmosphere that's in the game. Now with Cody's on in the bottom lane, they don't have like that anxiousness coming from the ADC. They have it in a control mage, and having that feeling in a control mage, you know, wanting to control the situation is okay. So here you do see Piglet doing the same thing he would probably do if he was playing Kai'Sa. Not to be like super rude, but like I'm just trying to be as realistic as I can. But because he's on Lissandra, the play makes a whole lot more sense. Like he's able to make an engage, and he's able to get in and get out. And they actually profit First Blood Tower off of it. So this actually gives Clutch quite a significant lead. And now that Fire Dragon doesn't really mean a whole lot, because that Fire Dragon is giving TSM possibly 700, 1100. I mean not even 1100, or once I'm at Rise, I'm trying to count. 1,000, 1350, possibly 1,500 gold worth of stats. And you know, for stats gold is not actually all that useful. And that's just using the base tokens of longsword and an amplifying tome. I couldn't think for a second. I don't know why. Okay, so TSM go ahead and they return for the bottom tower of Clutch Gaming. Not going to mean a whole lot to Clutch. Clutch is actually on the top side. Looks like they do want to go for this top tower. They're currently running a 4-1. They have Huni top. Huni's going to be going for... Oh, he won't be going for the top tower in order to rotate towards the dragon. It looks like they are going to be going to contest the Mountain Drake. So this is correct. This is very nice. Huni actually is looking for a 1v1. Never mind. Everything that was correct just went wrong. What the hell is he doing? I mean, I was right earlier. There was a world where Clutch got into playoffs. Just said that if they lose, they are eliminated. Yeah, like in what world does Huni need this vision? So like think about it. I haven't picked up my pen in a while. I've been able to monologue pretty nicely here, but the game now just got really stupid. Why does he need this vision? It's 20 minutes. The two objectives that are being contested on the board are mid tower and dragon. All of his team is at dragon. They're getting vision on dragon. Why do you need vision here? Like what is he doing? So that's my question. What is he doing? I think he wants to know if Akali's rotating. Well, you figured it out. You also didn't spend your control ward on that. You walked in the bush to place a Ghost Poro. Like, he definitely is a culprit of putting himself in a position where he is in trouble. Like, could he have known earlier that Akali was there? That Akali would have been there? Yeah. So what you can do is, I believe you can still ward this bush from standing here. But is it really necessary that you ward the bush anyway? Like, if you miss the ward, like, not that it makes a whole much of a difference. You know Akali's gonna walk through this corridor. Like, I think what Huni really wanted was to just spend Ghost Poro. He wanted to put Ghost Poro here. He didn't have an actual ward. I don't know where the hell he spent his actual ward. He doesn't want to spend his top ward that's in, literally, like, this is the most useless top ward I've ever seen. In the bush, in top. Like, that's no longer useful to him. The next time Clutch goes to top, they will be taking top tower, and this ward will become useless. Because, I mean, they're going to have, like, 4 people up there. You know, if just a Kali's sitting in the bush, it's probably not going to be an issue, because if all of TSM happen to be top, the Clutch will probably know that before they actually get to top. So, you know, he wanted to walk into the jungle instead of just like placing pink, walking away, or placing pink, walking away. I have no idea where his actual ward is, because he just used it. I knew that. Oh, well, no. Oh, maybe he doesn't have it. He has it here. I think he placed it in the river. But anyway, yeah, this is really silly. I have no idea what Huni's doing. Huni just lost his flash and he died. He forced Clutch to make a bad engage. Piglet is trying to recuperate the situation. Piglet does end up getting a kill. Lear has to eat out. Yeah, that's mess. That is a mess. That is not what Clutch Gaming wanted. Clutch Gaming wanted a very organized situation. This team, you know, mid-range DPS, assassin, loves to fight in the jungle, and then like scrappy mid-range DPS. Actually, those are just scrappy mid-range DPS. But jungle fights, assassins. So these guys like all these scrappy fights. So why give it to them? Like why allow them to have that? Okay, so now Huni is farming jungle, and maybe Clutch will decide to not contest the dragon. They're there. Oh wow, he actually robbed it. That was funny. Look at all the fake pressure that they have. Like, look at all the pressure that Lissandra brings to the table. They're so scared that they're trying to get out of the situation because they're getting flanked from two different areas, that they don't stand the dragon and they don't try to converge to one side. So that's a lot of pressure. You know, maybe it's because like someone's holding on to a lot of gold, but I think that would be a very elementary error by TSM. Like they could have had Akali teleport with a fresh back, and she would have 2 items onto Vayne's 1.5. Like he has 2 halves, or like a half and a third. But they don't build together, so because you don't really build Mortis off Hex Drinker until it's like late game. I'm actually curious as to like how Clutch lose this game. This is looking really good for Clutch. Apart from the whole like Huni inting thing, it's looking good. Well, interesting. That's a hell of a flank. Alright, so what did we learn about 4-1s, you know, in basic macro? So in basic macro, we learned that if you prefer organized fights, and you have a dedicated split pusher, that if you do prefer the organized fights, it's possible that you prefer the organized fights 4v4 rather than 5v5. Not just because your dedicated split pusher is particularly strong at this moment, but it means you profit from several things. One, your dedicated split pusher gets solo XP, gets a usually safer funnel of gold, And it means that in some situations, your 4v4 or the enemy rather than saying rather than saying clutches, say that TSM, so the enemy 4v4 is weaker than their 5v5. And what that really means here is saying that if they were to make a play right now and converge, and they already had bot pushed, and they converged on a bot tower, and maybe they killed Ryze under tower, and they got bottom inner, at the same time, if TSM was making this exact top play, they would be spending Galio ult and resources on the top play. They would be getting this tower, and they would only reach the inhibitor by the time they would only reach the inhibitor tower by the time Clutch has already taken an inhibitor tower. So what that would do is it actually puts TSM in a really bad situation. And TSM knows that in their situation as of now, the bottom inhibitor is more worth for Clutch Gaming than the top inhibitor for TSM. Now, due to the fact that Baron's already on the board, that does change a little bit of what you think. I think they would actually have to make a play on the mid. I think they would have someone pushing bot, so you would have somebody on TSM on bot, and they would rotate on the mid through that corridor. Because you don't want to stray too far away from Baron, because if they do make a play top like this, they could try and force Baron, which because they have quite tanky targets, they could. But I mean, trading mid inhibitor for top tower, that's not something TSM wants to do. And if CG can get more than one kill, then one of two things are going to happen. They're going to rotate from this tower out down, or they're going to rotate from this tower up to Baron, or they're going to keep pushing. I don't know why I said one of two things, because what I meant is if CG get one kill or more than one kill, they're going to get inner tower, or they're going to go try to force Baron. If they only get one kill, so if they only kill Lucian, or they only kill Ryze, whoever happens to be in mid lane at that time, who they can force on, because they have Rakan ult and Lissandra ult, they have some like forcing tools. Then it's going to be 4v4. You know, they won't have Vayne, and then TSM won't have Lucian or Ryze, whoever it is that they kill. It's a lot easier to kill. Actually, it might be easier to kill Lucian just because he doesn't have a stopwatch. Stopwatch is really annoying. Takes up time. You know, Lucian has the Mercurial. Not the Mercurial, but the Quicksilver. Same thing. Almost. So Clutch would probably move down after taking inner, and TSM would get top, and TSM would try to rotate down and try to flank them, which is why they would just take a quick pick on the dragon and then probably rotate down. Because they would know if TSM was trying to force Baron while they were in mid, still, because it would probably involve Ryze teleport. Okay, so good map options. This is not what CG want. This is not fighting an organized fight. This is trying to make up for the fact that Huni's playing a really weak and not weak. Vayne's not weak. Vayne's strong, but what's the word? Vulnerable. Vulnerable champion. And because he's playing that vulnerable champion, it's, you know, it's not very easy for him to not die if he gets jumped on. So yeah, they Rakan flanks the top, he gets the ult and the charm onto Smoothie. I don't even know if he quite got it onto Broken Blade. Jerikson flashes in, is able to pick up a kill. Ults over the walls, able to get another kill. Not good for CG. So now that TSM have picked up tempo, and this is a big part of the game for them. This is a big part of the game for them. Why is this a big part of the game for them? Ryze is on 3 items. And when Ryze is on 3 items, he's really strong. He's just like a mess. Akali's also super duper strong. Lucian isn't like broken, but he's definitely an annoyance. Things that are strong from CG are Chaya. Vayne's not quite strong yet. Like, Vayne needs more still. She still needs another item before she's like ridiculously OP. And remember that you pick Lissandra more for the utility, not for the damage. And that is definitely a utility build. She's got wave clear and sustain and armor. That is not a build to carry the game. And remember that Chaya could be a lot stronger, and this is possibly the genius behind it, and the only reason that you really pick that champion. This guy is gimping Clutch. Only because he forces Chaya to purchase a 1300 gold item just for him. Does Chaya get other bonuses out of this item? Yeah, she takes less damage from Ryze and Akali, like, sure. But is she really buying this item for Ryze or Akali? No, she's buying it for Skarner. She already has Cleanse. Like, Cody-san took Cleanse, and he has to buy that. Isn't that ridiculous? That makes him extremely vulnerable. Or, I mean, it makes him less vulnerable because it's hard for him to get jumped on, but you know, he doesn't have extra healing. His healing is on Vulcan. And usually when he can't get like an extra barrier or anything. He doesn't even have, and Vulcan has to buy the same item too. Like, Vulcan can't have Locket or Knight's Vow just because he has to spend 1300 gold on Quicksilver. It's very, the champion's a gimp. Anyway, I didn't actually see it very well originally. Just wanna. This play actually led to a TSM Baron. I wasn't even thinking that because I didn't think that they'd all die, but then now I just realized that 4 of them died. Because when you see this happening, I think I was so caught up in the fact that they shouldn't have been around Huni anyway. Like, it's not their job to be there. That I didn't realize 4 of them died and they lost Baron. Yeah. You can help Huni when he's got 6 items, but until Vayne has 6 items, like, that champion sucks, dude. I mean, well, at 3 items, she's still pretty OP. And then at 4 items, she's mega OP. And then, you know, 5th item comes by and it's just unstoppable. Okay, so CG's going for the Hail Mary, which goes really badly. And they almost all die. Okay, that's game. So what did I see that wasn't fixed? How about not knowing win conditions? And like, I don't know what to say about that. Like, cause this is the end of the split, and this means that I have to make some of my final statements on Clutch Gaming, and I want to be very careful about what I say. But and what I say is, first, I have heard from other coaches, am somewhat skeptical of the player-coach relationship. I can't spell, dude. I just spelled sh with a... This is what happens when you think in a different language. Holy crap. The player-coach relationship. Why? Why am I skeptical? I'm skeptical because there is a clear miscommunication of win conditions. And it's not, I don't think that it would be necessarily that Lyra, Piglet, or Cody-san, or Vulcan are just not doing what McScraggs wants them to do. I think part of it is that they like this drafting Elise here like has something to do like Lyra has to request that. Like that if I respect McScraggs, then I do not think that he chose Elise there. I do not think that this was his idea. I don't think he's very against it because I think that McScraggs is a very soft-spoken person from what I have seen. I mean, just like listening to him. But remember, like this speculation is from such a distant area. So when Lyra asked for Elise, if the other Korean speakers support the pick because they do see the value in it, possibly for not even for respect of their own player, but disrespect of the enemy team. They're saying, okay, well, we can make this work because it's comfortable and we know how to work with it. Then, like, because could this work if it was played to like the absolute maximum? Sure, like they can win with this comp, like they almost did. But it's not making it easy on themselves. So I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical of a lot of things. So that would be my first skepticism. The player-coach relationship is to the point where it has impeded draft. It has probably impeded draft all of Split. Some of those draft errors could have been McScraggs, but possibly a majority of those errors had been a result of the players requesting something specific. And I think that once you let a player have something on request, in a bad situation for it outside of scrims, you can't stop it from happening again without a very serious talk. And once it's happened twice, I don't think it'll ever stop happening. Because I've seen Demonte on picks that I don't think Demonte should have had. I've seen Piglet on picks that I don't think he should have had. Huni on picks I don't think he should have had. And Lyra on picks I don't think he should have had. Vulcan's the good boy. He's the good boy. Vulcan's good. I like Vulcan. He's never played badly. And maybe he's done something wrong. But I mean, like, I never have to question him. He's either doing what somebody else wants, or he's doing something right. At least from what I understand. I mean, I know from what I hear, Vulcan's really vocal, but he's never making any kind of really crazy play. Has he gotten caught like once or twice? Yeah, everybody does. So, yeah, draft, screwed, possibly screwed by the relationship. Either that or the draft prep and analysis is just wrong. Like if this is the real issue, like if everybody is like happy-go-lucky and everybody thinks that the drafts are great and 100%, and that it worked, the mentality that it worked in scrims, it's gonna work on stage, without a whole lot of research and a whole lot of like logical thinking, and then like I don't know. That's you know, draft for open analysis. That's fault on the players. It's fault on the staff. It's fault on everybody. That means like there's just knowledge about the game that could make the game easier, because when you're a losing team, you want to make the game easier. You want to make things easy to win. And this game was pretty easy to win, except for Elise. That didn't do anything. That was useless by minute 15. And he's full AP. Like, he's not even a meat shield. He's just a little bit of damage, not even a whole lot of it. Possibly as much damage as Lissandra does, with not even two like really super heavy AP items. And I mean, it's mostly like single target damage. So yeah, you know, two possible errors. We're going to check back tomorrow. We are going to reanalyze tomorrow, and see what happened in the final game of the split versus C9, or maybe they once they're out of playoffs, they're just like having fun. I don't really know what they're doing tomorrow or in the Sunday's game, but you know, thank you for watching. It's been I hope you had fun listening to me ramble. If you liked the video, then please comment and subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them here. Feel free to leave them on the Clutch Gaming subreddit, which I believe Duca will be posting to, and I will get back to them as soon as possible. Have a wonderful night. Thank you again for watching my videos.